In the growing metropolis of Kavuli City, where old concrete buildings battled for space with new glass towers, Tunde Okoro stood as a man who had built bridges literally and emotionally. As a civil engineer, his days were spent navigating blueprints and construction sites, ensuring the city connected smoothly. Despite his technical brilliance, he remained modest. He had inherited humility from his mother, who sold fruits by the roadside to get him through school. Tunde lived alone in a quiet, modest apartment in Hillcrest, a leafy suburb. He had no rush to marry, no dramatic love story in his past. What he had was a deep yearning to find someone who understood his silence, someone who carried weight without noise. That someone appeared one Friday night at a local art gallery in Langaro district. He had gone reluctantly, dragged by a friend, but once inside, he found himself drawn to a painting of a cracked red earth with faint eyes etched into the dust like whispers. "Do you like it?" a voice asked beside him. He turned and saw Amale, tall, slender, with tightly coiled hair tucked into a scarf. She wore a long black coat, modest yet regal. Her eyes, dark and watchful, held stories that no canvas could. "It's haunting," Tunde replied, "like it's watching you." Amale smiled. "It is. It's called The Witness. We all carry pieces of the land inside us." They talked for over an hour, weaving between art and life, laughter and silence. She told him she was a freelance illustrator, mostly commissioned for youth programs and murals. He believed her. Her way with words had color. They exchanged numbers. A week later, they had coffee, then lunch, then walks in Carissa Park, and slowly they found rhythm. But Amale was guarded. She never spoke of family. She avoided questions about where she lived, skillfully steering conversations elsewhere. Tunde respected her boundaries, but questions lingered. She was always early to meet, but never let him drop her home. She did not have social media, and her phone was an old button model. Still, her presence made him feel alive. With her, the world slowed down. She listened like time did not exist. She laughed from her belly. She knew how to sit in silence without making it awkward. Then came the day everything shifted. Tunde was returning home from a site visit in Makeni Industrial Zone, where he was supervising a new overpass construction. Near Kamalu Bridge, as he turned onto the feeder road, near a community center, he saw a group walking towards a nearby shelter. The rain had just begun, a soft drizzle tapping his windshield. That's when he saw her. Amale, walking quickly, holding a plastic bag and an old umbrella. Her clothes were wet and did not notice him. He pulled into a quiet alley and killed the engine. A sick feeling rose in his chest. He stayed in the car, heart pounding, watching her, until she disappeared behind the wire fence. He got out quietly. As the rain intensified, he followed her at a safe distance. Amale ducked under a sheet of iron near the bridge. She greeted an old woman sitting on a stack of crates and pulled out a small bottle of cooking oil and a loaf of bread from her bag. Together, they arranged what looked like dinner on a makeshift table, a plank of wood on bricks. He stepped back, breath caught in his throat. She lived there, beneath Kamalu Bridge. He thought to himself. That night, he barely slept. He kept seeing her in that soaked coat, laughing with an old woman like it was a living room. He thought of all the times she had gracefully dodged his questions. Now, he understood, but he also felt ashamed for not realizing sooner, for believing a confident smile meant everything was fine. The next day, he texted her as usual. Tunde, coffee today? Amale, tomorrow. A bit tired today. But he insisted gently. Let me take you somewhere new. Just sit with me for an hour. She agreed. They met at a rooftop cafe overlooking the city skyline. He had reserved a quiet corner away from the crowd. She arrived in a clean but worn dress and her familiar scarf. He noticed her eyes looked tired, but she still smiled. Amale, he began, I've been thinking about you a lot. She sipped her tea quietly. I have never wanted to pressure you, to share things you are not ready to. But yesterday, I was in Makeni, and I saw you. She froze. I saw where you went under Kamalu Bridge. Amale did not speak. Her hand trembled slightly as she put her cup down. Her eyes glistened. I did not follow you to judge, Tunde continued. I followed because I care. I just needed to know the truth. Tears flowed down her cheeks. Still, she said nothing. Please tell me, he said softly. Tell me what happened. Amale looked away into the far skyline. My mother was everything to me, she whispered. She was a primary school teacher. We did not have much, but we had each other. She got sick 2 years ago, cervical cancer. It was too late by the time it was caught. I sold everything for her treatment, our furniture, our jewelry, my art supplies, and still it was not enough. She died holding my hand. I lost the house 3 months later. She shook her head. You know, the hardest part about being homeless is not the hunger. It's the invisibility. People stop seeing you. You become part of the scenery. Tunde leaned closer. You were never invisible to me. Amale broke down. And that evening, he did not offer her money. He did not say, move in with me, or even play savior. Instead, he listened. He made her feel seen. Over the next few weeks, Tunde found quiet ways to support her. He helped her apply for an artist grant through a non-profit. He pulled strings to get her a spot as an art teacher in a local youth program. He bought her a second-hand iPad for her digital work, but gave it to her wrapped with a card written, "For the world your hands will paint." He even arranged for her to stay in a modest apartment near the school and paid for 3 months in advance, but told her it was covered by the program so that she would not feel like a burden. Amale slowly bloomed. She began painting again, murals in schools, portraits for clients, illustrations for children's books. But her greatest work was a mural near the Kamalu Bridge. It showed a woman carrying a lantern through a storm, leading children across a broken bridge into a sunrise. She titled it, I Rise. Tunde came to watch the unveiling, standing quietly among the crowd. When Amale saw him, she walked over and whispered, Thank you for seeing me, even when I tried to disappear. And he replied, You did not disappear. You just needed time to return. They stood there, two hearts no longer pretending, the story no longer hidden, a bridge built between two souls. Thank you so much for watching. Please support this channel by hitting the like, share, and subscribe button.